Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Binipurarachi.
And a very good evening to you indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The President reiterates that officials should properly implement the instructions given on the development of the country. The litro gas prices have been increased. A maximum retail price for sugar. ICC full-time members have been enlightened on irregularities on Sri Lankan cricket. 11 out of the 17 Sri Lankan nationals who were trapped in the Gaza Strip arrived unharmed in Egypt. The Israeli Prime Minister says there will not be a ceasefire with the Hamas organizations until the release of all hostages. More than 150 persons killed and 100 injured in an earthquake in Nepal. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. At the Nuwara Eliya Special District Coordination Committee meeting held today at the Nuwara Eliya District Secretariat, President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the importance of the effective implementation of the directives related to the country's development.
In the meantime, the President has also directed to expedite the initiative of transforming the Nuwara Eliya district into an attractive tourist destination. The meeting was attended by both political authorities of the district and government officials. The discussions covered the development programs implemented in the Nuwara Eliya district. Future development plans have also been discussed in depth. A progressive evolution on the implementation of decisions have also come under attention. The officials have also planned on the immediate measures taken to overcome shortages in medicines, school teachers, as well as road reconstructions and resolution of the drinking water problem. They have also evaluated on the progress on infrastructure development. He underscored that government officials must promptly execute decisions made during District Development Committee meetings and stated his commitment to preventing any programs that could hinder the country's progress. Furthermore, he warned that action would be taken against the heads of government institutions who fail to properly implement the instructions regarding the country's development activities. President Wickremesinghe stressed that executing decisions promptly to make the Nuwara Eliya district an attractive and comfortable tourist destination for both local and foreign tourists would significantly contribute to the country's economy. The President emphasized that heads of public institutions should have a strong understanding of their institution's scope to ensure efficient service delivery to the public. The meeting also discussed expediting the development plan for Nuwara Eliya city.
මොකද්ද මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ ඔච්චර කාලෙ මම මෙතන කිව්වේ මුළු බිල්ඩින්ගම ඕන කියලා මේ ගොඩනැගිල්ල ලස්සන පරණ නුවර එළියේ අද කරනවද නැද්ද කියලා මට කියන්න කරනවද නැද්ද කරනවා එහෙනම් අද යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා එකඟ වෙලා යන්න වෙන තැනක් හොයාගන්න යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ගමු මේ කිව්වයන් පස්සේ සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එපා ඔය ගොඩනැගිල්ල පොඩ්ඩක්ව වෙනස් නොකර තමයි ඔය සංචාරක කටයුත්තට ජනාධිපතිතුමා ගන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ ගිය සැරේ කිව්වහමත් ඔක බ්ලොක් කරන්නේ 2017 19 අතර නැත්තම් මෙතන හෝටලයක් තියෙනවා. මෙතනත් යුක්‍රේන් එක විරුද්ධයි කියලා කියන්නේ. මේ සෙල්ලම මං එක්ක නම් කරන්න එපා.
අපි තැපල් කන්තවරුවට ගොඩනැගිල්ල හඳුනගෙන පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා. ඒ දැනට පරණ නගර සභාවේ ගොඩනැගිල්ල. පරණ නගර සභාව කියන ගොඩනැගිල්ල වහලා නගර සභාව කියන එක භාවිතයට ගන්න නැතුව තියෙනවා.
මේ මහනුවර ගොඩනැගිල්ලත් ඕන හෝටලයක් කරන්න. ඒකත් මං කියලා තියෙනවා දැන් හරිද? ඒකටත් ලෑස්ති වෙන්න. ඒ පරණ ලස්සන ගොඩනැගිල්ල ඒවා ලස්සනට මේන්ටේන් කරයි. මේව අල්ලගෙන මේවා කරන්න එපා. I asked for the post office, they gave me the land behind. If they won't do this, මං ඒක
And meanwhile, the Litro Gas Company has decided to revise the gas prices with effect from midnight today. The company says the prices have been amended in line with the world market of the gas prices. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Piri, said that accordingly it has been decided to increase the price of a 12.5 kilogram gas cylinder by 95 rupees. The new price is 3,565 rupees. The price of a 5 kilogram gas cylinder has been increased by 38 rupees to the new price of 1,431 rupees. The price of a 2.3 kilogram gas cylinder has been increased by 18 rupees and the new price is 668 rupees. At the time of January 2023, when the prices were similar to that of today, the foreign exchange ratio had relatively remained unchanged. At the time, the gas prices was around 4,470 rupees. The chairman also said in November 2022, they sold a cylinder for 4,380 rupees. He added that in the past few weeks, the rupee value was depreciated. As the company buys gas for dollars, depreciation has directly attributed for the price increase. Chairman Peris also said that it is a victory to be able to maintain the gas prices at the 3,500 rupee level. He has also expressed hope to the ability to bring down the gas price to 2,000 rupee level once again after February of next year.
In the meantime, the Consumer Affairs Authority has taken measures to set up a maximum retail price for sugar. The decision was scheduled to be implemented with effect from yesterday. According to the relevant Gazette notification, the maximum retail price for a kilogram of unpacked white sugar is 275 rupees and for packeted 1 kilogram of white sugar is 295 rupees. The MRP for an unpacked kilogram of brown sugar is 330 rupees and for a packed kilogram of brown sugar the price is 350 rupees. However, many shops have been found selling sugar at a price exceeding the maximum retail price. The government has decided recently to increase the special commodity tax on a kilo of imported sugar up to 50 rupees.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says it is unfair for the United Nations Human Rights Council to judge the crisis in Gaza Strip in one manner and the Sri Lankan issue in a different manner. The president says he is requesting to come with clean hands to the next session in the Human Rights Council to be held in next September. The president had made these remarks at the opening of the new judicial complex in Valimada last afternoon. The three-storied complex is comprised of a district court, magistrate court and an office complex. A sum of 460 million rupees spent on the project. Previously, the district and magistrate courts were functioning under extremely minimum facilities, and the new courts complex provides state-of-art facilities for both the courts. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has declared open the new court complex by unveiling a plaque amidst all religious observances. Valimada Lawyers Association presented a special souvenir to the president.
When Hamas attacked Israel on 7th of October, the government of Sri Lanka condemned it. I said, though Sri Lanka stands by the principle of Palestine in statehood, we cannot condone this act. We can't condone terrorism. And it also left the government with the right of retaliation within the laws and rules available in the international community. But that, in my view, does not in any way justify the killings of over 10,000 people in the Gaza Strip. This is not figures that I have, these are figures that are being quoted by the UN agencies. Now this raises another issue. Are you entitled to have declared war to one area of your own country? Can you go to war against it? So we have gone through this question. And can countries condone it? Because when we brought a motion for the ceasefire, many of our countries, all of us voted for it. USA opposed it, and some other countries also opposed it. Now this is the question. Why is it that they are acting in this manner? Because last year in October at the Human Rights Council, they all got together and passed a resolution against Sri Lanka. The country that moved it was Canada, who is also at this time moved the amendment to the ceasefire resolution. Canada has become now the henchman for moving these resolutions. Now the resolution has been moved against and passed by us. And we all have to follow it. So I only want to point out, now what is this difference? We have been asked in this, underscoring the importance of addressing the underlying governance factors and root causes that have contributed to that crisis, including deepening militarization, lack of accountability in governments and impunity of human rights violation, abolish and abusers. Now, if this is good for Sri Lanka, it must also apply to Palestine. After all, what is taking place in West Bank and the removal of the bringing in of settlers is a big issue. Then why is it that one rule applies to us and another rule applies to them? This is the question I have. And reaffirming also that all measures taken to combat terrorism must comply fully with states' obligations under international law, in particular international human rights law, and as applicable international refugee law and international human rights law. So what applies to us must also apply in the Gaza. What US has told us to do, they must also ensure is being enforced in the Gaza. Now we are having two different systems. Then express concerns at the human rights impact of the economic crisis, including as a result of increased food insecurity, severe shortages in fuel, shortage in essential medicine, and reductions in household incomes. That's what they said of Sri Lanka last year. It is much worse in Gaza today. And stress the importance of the protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms, the grievances and demands of the Tamil and Muslim population. So what you are being asked here in Gaza is to address the concerns of the Muslim population. The Sri Lankan government must address it. Why is there another rule? To take measures to address the marginalization and discrimination against persons from the Muslim community. Well, the Arab Palestinians are Muslims and they have all been marginalized in their own place. So I ask them, why is it that the US applies this to us but not in Gaza? They in fact tell us that there is no need for a ceasefire, only what is called a humanitarian pause. Now this is the issue we are faced with. Now my problem is, okay, let's say the UN is handling the Gaza issue. When we go next year to the UN Human Rights Council, we will be judged by this. There is one law for us, one standard for the others. So I am thinking now of that rule which all of you apply in courts, that you must come to courts with clean hands. That is in the domestic jurisdictions. Sometimes in international tribunals, they have also said you must come to courts in clean hands. So why shouldn't it then apply here also? Next September, come with clean hands and we will answer it. If you haven't got clean hands, why should we answer it? That's the question I have. So I thought I'll ask the Minister of Justice and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, together with our Attorney General and our permanent representative in UN, to consult international legal opinion on this application that you must come to courts in clean hands. Why shouldn't it apply to the Human Rights Council?
Moving on to more news, the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau says 11 out of 17 Sri Lankan nationals who have been trapped in the Gaza Strip have arrived in Egypt via the Rafah border crossing. Deputy General Manager of the Bureau, Gamini Senarath-Yapa, says that protection on 4 Sri Lankans who still remain in the Gaza Strip has been strengthened. Deputy General Manager of Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau, Gamini Senarath-Yapa, said 4 more Sri Lankans continue to remain in a mosque. They are being supplied with necessary facilities. These Sri Lankans are also expected to reach Egypt through the border as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the Israeli authorities have confirmed yesterday that 48-year-old Sujit Bandara Yatavara, a resident of the Kolon Jadia Vennapur, who was believed to have been detained by the Hamas organization as a hostage, has died. The Foreign Employment Bureau says measures are being taken to bring back his body to Sri Lanka in the next few days. The Israeli government has expressed willingness to grant all compensations on behalf of the Sri Lankan victims in the same manner such benefits were granted to Israeli nationals killed in the warfare.
And meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected suggestions of a temporary ceasefire with Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister said that he would not consider a temporary ceasefire until all hostages are released. With fighting between the Israel Defense Forces and Hamas about the entire its fifth week, the Hamas-run Health Ministry said at least 13 people were killed in the incident and blamed an Israeli airstrike in a statement. Hamas officials said Israeli forces targeted a convoy of ambulances which was transporting the wounded from Al-Shifa towards Rafah in the southern Gaza Strait. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed it has hit an ambulance which it said it was being used by Hamas operatives. If it did not say where the strike took place. Meanwhile, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, head of the World Health Organization, said he was utterly shocked by a report blast outside Gaza City's largest hospital, Al-Shifa. Moving on to local stories, a Pirith chanting ceremony and a alms giving was conducted in connection with the 7th anniversary of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna at the party headquarters yesterday. Basil Rajapaksa was entrusted the task of introducing a new party following the defeat at the presidential election in 2015 by the former president Mahinda Rajapaksa. Accordingly, a new political force under the name of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, which incorporated all progressive forces, came into being in 2016 under the leadership of Mahinda Rajapaksa. The SLPP was able to demonstrate its strength by organizing a massive May Day rally prior to the passing of 1 year. In 2018 local elections, young SLPP showed its strength by winning more than 70% of the local government bodies. In 2019 presidential election was another decisive moment for SLPP as it has to face the first president election since the formation of the party. SLPP candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa won the election after bagging 6.9 million votes in the presidential polls. In the 2020 general elections, SLPP won a two-thirds majority in the parliament following the party's landslide victory. SLPP is a party that controls more than 450 trade unions in the government and the non-governmental sector. A Pirith chanting was conducted at the Nelu Mawata party headquarters last night, which was attended by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Basil Rajapaksa and many senior politicians as well as foreign dignitaries. Another objective of the ceremony was to extend blessings on the general public in the country. And that's it on local stories. Stay tuned with international news coming after the break.
මේ ලෝකයේ මිනිසුන් සතුන් දසදහස් ගණනක් ගව් ගණන් දුර ඇවිදිති. ජලය සොයා පිරිසිදු ජලය ඇති තැන් අපිරිසිදු නොකරමු. සුරකිමු ජලය අනාගතය වෙනුවෙන්.
Welcome back with international stories, and moving to Nepal, that more than 150 people have been killed after an earthquake striking remote western Nepal yesterday.
Security forces have been deployed to help rescue efforts in the rugged streets and districts of Jajakot and West Rukum, 500 kilometers west of Kathmandu. Strong tremors were felt far away in the Nepalese capital and in cities in neighboring India, including Delhi. An army spokesman said more than 100 people have been injured. Jajakot's hospital is packed with the wounded. 3 more tremors were felt within an hour of the quake. Many people spent the rest of the night in the open because of fear of further quakes and damage to their houses. Video footage on local media showed crumbled facades of the multi-storied brick houses. UNICEF Nepal said that they were assessing the damage and the toll of the disaster on children and families. Nepal's Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal arrived in the affected region today after expressing his deep sorrow at the loss of life and property wrought by the quake on social media platform X. He said he had ordered security agencies to immediately launch rescue and relief operations, but those search and rescue operations are being hampered by roads becoming blocked by landslides.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Sharifa. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.